Donnghaile.
Scarly, agus Ira to Fáilte Road, Higgin Shannon, and you to Curran Fáilte Riven Shall, Shaw Flaylet. Minister, feeling you're very welcome to the Shannon, and I welcome, as other colleagues have, the opportunity to discuss this important proposal coming forward. And Minister, I noted during the course of your own remarks, you referred to the preparatory work, the very important preparatory work underway within your department for any potential outcome for next year's planned referendum on presidential voting rights. And I'm glad, I have to say, and I acknowledge positively the impetus now that there seems to be in relation to that. And I know it has been a laborious process. I know it has been a complex process. But I think now we're into the final kind of furlong, and it looks like we're in for that referendum, please God, next May. So obviously that in itself warrants logically the outworking of a commission that is fit for purpose and that meets the ever-changing and bespoke arrangements that is going to be required for this change in our electoral architecture, but also for all of the reasons that have been outlined by colleagues right across the chamber in terms of the outdated nature of what has gone previously. But while certainly, for fairly obvious reasons, I have stressed on the issue of presidential voting rights for people resident outside of the state, there are other potential changes, as other colleagues have alluded to, coming down the line. And when the Taoiseach was here before us, Minister, earlier in the year, in terms of Shannon reform, he laid out very clearly that politically, for the government and for him, he wanted to see universal franchise in Shannon elections. So that included our citizens right across the 32 counties, and indeed, I assume, among those qualifying within the global diaspora and the recently emigrated as well. Minister, another maybe unusual, but certainly given the legal advice presented to MEP Martina Anderson, very doable proposal coming forward would be the allocation of the 2 additional Brexit seats to represent the North. I don't know if that is featured in considerations in terms of the Commission, but certainly I'm sure it has more broadly, and if it hasn't, I would commend that legal advice to you. I would commend the recommendation to you that those 2 new additional EU parliamentary seats would be utilised, whether elected by or how the mechanics of that would work. Certainly that's something to look at, and that's why the legal advice is so important. But that gives us, again, another potential for doing something different, doing something positive, and doing something actually that's inclusive as well, that gives people that most basic right and entitlement, the right to vote. Finally, Minister, I just wonder, in terms of your engagement, have you looked to the North in terms of the Electoral Commission that's there? Because in terms of all that has been said, I'm not saying by any stretch that it's perfect, but in terms of much of what has been called for and what has been proposed by colleagues here in the Shannon, that's happening just a short while up the road. So there may be an opportunity to engage, to share best practice, to look at existing best practice, because as we know, the Commission operates entirely independently from the executive and from the political structures there in the North. So it's working away as is.